The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 26th day of January, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carla Zul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start that watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. Just get the conversation out there to your network. And don't forget to like and engage with us. Another good one today, as well-known singer and entertainer Jesse Seymour is dropping by to discuss the medical expenses and fundraising for his mother. The Daily Play is a history question, and so we expect nothing but great things from Carla when it comes to this question. You ready, Carla?
I'm ready.
I mean, you got about an hour to prepare. Well, just under an hour to prepare for today's question. But welcome back. Thanks again to former Premier Michael Dunkley for joining us yesterday. And obviously Jesse Seymour coming today. A lot to discuss today. Carla, did you hear about, well, before we even get into that, gotta wish a happy birthday to my niece. She's turning 8 already. Nyla is 8. Yeah, they got old, man. And as they got old, so do we. But you can see that.
Happy birthday, Nyla. I remember she was first born. Jeez.
Yep, Nyla's 8 already. Yep, came 2 months early. Now it's just 8 years flown by. And another big happy birthday to my Aunt Lois. Aunt Lois is having a big birthday today as well. So niece and aunt. So making sure, it looks like Curly Shotter's going to have a little dance for Aunt Lois on social media tomorrow. So
happy birthday, Aunt Lois.
If you listen to the brethren, Renako, Curly Shotter, Kingstar, and them, check them out on Wednesday. You'll be at Aunt Lois's party. Entry is free, I believe. Entry is free. And as DJ iBreeze said, you can go to the bar you like in your house while you're enjoying the dance, right? But it's also the anniversary of the death of Kobe Bryant, who last year, when he perished, I mean, it was the end of what many people thought was a long month, a long January, and then the year that followed was just unbelievable. So, speaking of Kobe, what were you doing when you got the news last year, Carla?
I don't remember, but I do remember working at the bar and serving people and saying to them, did you realize that Kobe Bryant died? And one girl, she was a real big athlete. She burst into tears. So most likely I was home when I found he had passed. But yeah, shocking. And his daughter. Mm-hmm. And the other 6.
Yeah, something to do with you in a bar, but you were working, not drinking. But no, I agree. It was definitely a shock. All 8 people, I believe it was 8, right? Total.
Yeah.
And I remember I was actually, it was January, so I was making my juices. And I remember it coming on TV, and TMZ was the first to report it. And, people just think TMZ is skeptical, right? They think it's just gossip. It's not real. And so you just start seeing all of the news channels turning towards this crash. And, people start saying it's reported it was Kobe Bryant's helicopter, and him and his daughter Gigi were on there. I remember the original rumors, people saying that one of his ex-teammates was on there as well, and so on. But I think when the confirmation started coming in, there was so much shock. And I think one of the things is we all understand that, with life comes death. That's just a part of the process, right? But I think when we look at certain people who, at the end of the day, they're superstars. You put them on this pedestal. You don't expect them to perish so young and so tragically. So it was very shocking. It was a rough one to take. And again, this was a year ago already, 1 year ago. And can't forget, his family. I mean, his wife is now, widower and raising 3 daughters, but the support that she's had within that year has been tremendous. You've seen, I believe it was Ciara, like just how many people have gravitated towards her to show love in that time. So it's been incredible to see. Long may that stand.
But unfortunately, did you see the fallout between her and her mom?
I did, and very unfortunate, especially with the circumstances surrounding her husband and daughter. But very unfortunate. But for those who don't know, just share a bit more, Carla.
Well, basically, she felt that her mom was initially overcrowding her. She needed to mourn in her way. And she was saying that her mom kept, are you okay? Are you okay? But then something happened. And then the mom basically started talking about her and trying to make money off of the tragedy. So it's caused, understandably a big rift between them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate. And again, there's so many things with death and tragedy that come along, and those are the things that you want to avoid the most. But let's move on again. An incredible day. Just interested to see how people will remember Kobe Bryant a year on. Robert Durham says, I thought it was a hoax until I turned on CNN, couldn't believe it. That was a lot of people. That was a lot of people last year this time. So Carla, yesterday we discussed the tourism and the Dirty on the Dirty to Hill Forbes thing, right? And by yesterday afternoon, I'm reading the title in The Guardian, theguardian.com. It's a British entity, I believe. The title says, Forbes drops Bermudian trip for entrepreneurs to escape COVID gloom, right? Well, this is unfortunate because this is the kind of stuff that Bermuda kind of needs to help the economy, if we're all honest. Now, I know there were concerns and people saying things like, well, you know what? Well, where were they going to go? I mean, they're not going to come here. And I understood the concerns from @Rachel, the famous @Rachel. And she said, that person can test negative, a false negative, and then end up being, I get all of that. But I was a bit shocked at how fast this was canceled or postponed, whichever word you want to use. We really don't know if it's going to happen. So I'm looking at the article. It says the CDC says that those who must travel to Bermuda should wear a mask, stay at least 6 feet from people not traveling with them at all times, and wash their hands or use sanitizer often. I mean, this should be normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rachel, she was one of the honorees of the Dirty on the Dirty in 2018 for her work as a brand strategist at BuzzFeed. So she had quite the job. And what she was quoted as saying, like many other social media users who saw the post, she questioned the reliability of wisdom of Forbes' approach. Quote, it only takes one person with a delayed COVID result or a false negative to get everyone sick, she wrote. And as we get closer to the 500,000 dead in the US, it feels incredibly myopic to organize a big privilege party on a tropical island. So it was called a privilege party, according to Rachel, right? Dr. Vicky Foster, a British cancer research scientist who works at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto, Canada, tweeted she had not seen the invitation, but that if she had, quote, I would have told them that this was a stupid idea. But Glenn Jones, the interim CEO of the Bermuda Tourism Authority, said Bermuda was the right choice for such a retreat, adding, quote, I hope they come. Our business is safe tourism. We're up for this. What do you make of those contrasting statements, Sister Carla?
Well, could Mr. Jones say anything differently in his position? Of course, he's going to tout all of that. With the Rachel, which it's interesting because she stood to benefit from this trip, perhaps, but yet her being so against it. So kudos to her for not being afraid of being the party pooper. And then the doctor. So I just think I think it was a wise call to call it off.
Mhm.
But can Rachel stand the hate mail she may get?
Mm. It's interesting. Carrie Lamb says they were comparing this to the Kardashian. Well, this is what was said in regards to that. The trip, which some suggested had echoes of Kim Kardashian's private island retreat, quote, where people could pretend things were normal just for a brief moment in time, and quote, had 75 places available. I don't know much about the I don't want to know much about them, but I don't think that's what you want to be comparing anything to in a time like this. I'm just saying, well, at any time. But I want to read this paragraph as well. While a place on the list is to some a prize badge of achievement and promise, it has also been criticized as an elitist and arbitrary institution. It has worked to better balance its honorees after early criticism for a lack of diversity. Oh my.
And see, that's the thing. Think about it. I mean, when I was 30, I only had a 2-year-old by then. But think about when you were 30 and partying and living it up. Nobody's scared to tell you that you're gonna, and actually they were under 30. So let's go all of us in our 20s when we were whooping it up. You're going from a place that could perhaps be cold or whatever, you're going to Bermuda, beaches, alcohol, and all of that, and you're gonna stay in that bubble. No, you're gonna whoop it up and have a great time and be all over the place. Let's be for real. So it is that risk.
Well, let's close it out. The Forbes spokesman said, "We're not proceeding with this initiative, but we are committed to tapping into the brain power of our global community, partnering with others, and demonstrating a path forward. We wanted to find a way, with the help of the Bermudian government, to create a protocol that could allow us to come together and build community in a safe way that also serves as a model for the world," end quote. Question to the audience. Do you agree with this not happening now? Do you agree with the Forbes 30 under 30 postponing or canceling? I mean, from Forbes, they're not proceeding with this initiative. So I don't know if it's temporary or not. But do you agree that it's? I mean, because let's be honest. I think Bermuda's biggest challenges. You know, I saw the discussions on Twitter yesterday, and I don't mean to be arrogant in saying what I'm about to say, but honestly, people just don't get how tourism works. You know, I see people using the words innovative. Bermuda's not. We haven't been innovative with tourism. We've done what other destinations are doing, and sometimes we've done it better. Right? That's okay. It's okay to do what other people are doing, but that's not innovation. The problem, the truth of the matter is, and we're going to have Cordell Riley on next week as well, and he brings a sense of understanding and realism to the conversation. But just because you live in a tourist destination doesn't mean you understand how tourism works. That's not how it works. Just because you love to drink alcohol and love to go to a bar doesn't mean you'll make a great bartender. We've got to understand this. So I think this initiative would have been good for Bermuda. Is this the time? Probably not. Were the concerns addressed? Probably not enough to make people comfortable with what was going to happen.
And you know what? The thing that's giving me a little bit of heebie-jeebie, looking at the latest COVID stats, we've had a few days of negatives. And remember, we were here before in Bermuda, and then all these imported cases started coming in. So that kind of, putting Bermuda back, like it seems like it's heading back towards a really good space to play with that. I don't know.
Well, from the reports, it says that they would have been in a bubble, right? But I think Carla makes a great point, is that although a lot of the blame was put on the locals, Bermudians, back when the cases started to, get out of hand, November, December, right? I think Bermudians are within their right mind to say, well, everything was good until rugby and golf happened in October, right? I think it's only fair for Bermudians to feel that way. So, it's a tough one, because Bermuda definitely needs revenue. Bermuda needs the income, but at the end of the day, Bermuda has to be creative, a bit more creative than doing what's been done all this time. What does that creativity look like? What does it feel like? I mean, I can sit here and throw stuff out, but nobody's paying me for my ideas. Sorry. That's just real. I mean, people should be paid for their intelligence. I'll tell anyone that. There's too many times, especially Black people and Bermudians are used and not rewarded or funded for what they're offering forward. So sad to see that the event's not going to take place. But at the end of the day, go back to the drawing board and see what can happen. Like, see what collaborations can take place that may benefit people, where it's less worry about what may happen that can lead to. I mean, and I think when you look at Rachel, she was really talking about how it could impact the U.S., not even Bermuda, right? If the U.S. heading to a crazy place in terms of 500,000 lives lost. So, all right. So we have a big show. Carla's going to get to the news. Then we're going to come back. We have Jesse Seymour coming on. Don't forget, if you see my niece, unless you teach at her school, you're not going to see her. It's her birthday today, Nyla's birthday. So say happy birthday to Nyla for me, everyone. And then Aunt Lewis as well. Aunt Lewis, make sure you attend Aunt Lewis's party with Curly Shotta tomorrow throughout social media. I'm going to be in the dance, Carla. I mean, look, then have my tooth paper. No, I can't say that, didn't I?
Two napkins at dinner.
2 napkins at dinner. And I might 2 napkins at dinner. I'll be at the dance tomorrow night in honor of my auntie. Happy birthday, Aunt Lewis. And also remembering Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and the other victims in the sad, tragic helicopter ride last year. James Birch, before we go to the news break, I thought that they said the cases that initially led to community spread was from, well, that's what I said, James. I said that a lot was said that it was local residents. But what I also said was that local residents have every right to feel that these cases didn't start happening until rugby and golf. That's the point that we can't be missed. So let's say this event did happen with the Forbes 30 on the 30, right? And cases exploded. And Bermudians would be in their right mind to believe that the government is not telling the truth. They would be in their right mind to say, well, cases were down, like Carla just said. We've had 0 lately. And then we have this group, and now numbers are back up, and you're blaming the locals who haven't been anywhere. So just the way the human mind works. Carla, you ready for the news?
I am.
All right, over to you.
Major immigration changes are needed to stop the island from falling off the fiscal cliff, the Labor and Immigration Minister has recently said. Jason Hayward warned that the island had to use immigration to create economic growth in the face of an aging population and shrinking workforce. He added, if Bermuda is going to better her fiscal situation, we must all embrace the bold steps needed to confront the situation. Mr. Hayward said the Labor Ministry was looking at the creation of an economic investment certificate, which would allow people to reside in Bermuda while contributing to the economic development of the island. Around 6:10 last evening, first responders attended a report of a 3-vehicle collision involving a motorcar, a bus, and a motorcycle along Middle Road near the junction with Fairhaven Lane in Sandys. Reports indicate that a 25-year-old male cyclist traveling in an easterly direction attempted to overtake vehicles traveling in the same direction when he lost control of his cycle and collided with a private car traveling in a westerly direction. As a result, the motorcycle rider was thrown into the path of a PTB bus, which was also traveling east. The injured male was taken to King Edward VII Memorial Hospital for treatment to his injuries, the extent of which were unknown at the time of report. The bus driver and the motorcar driver were not reported to be injured. The Department of Workforce Development invites college and university students to apply for the 2021 Summer Employment Program. Internship applicants must hold Bermuda status and be enrolled full-time at an accredited college or university with a minimum GPA of 2.5. Successful interns can expect to gain well-rounded career exposure with practical hands-on experience in the government, private, and nonprofit sectors. To register, students are invited to visit www.bermudajobboard.bm and create a candidate profile. After creating their profile, select looking for summer student position under current job status. Applicants should create a candidate record and attach their documents and supporting documents as well. Summer 2020 participants need only submit verification of full-time enrollment, transcripts, and a current resume. The deadline for applications is February 15th. Jamal, I dedicate this day to you and your wife. Spouse Day. Spouse Day is dedicated to recognizing spouses everywhere, from being thankful for the fulfillment and security of a long-term relationship to the boost in morale and well-being provided by spouses. This day is meant to provide a simple acknowledgement of the commitment and sacrifice it takes to be married. Because it happens in the middle of the dark winter, Spouses Day can be a great time to ignite a spark in a marriage, bringing some fun and light into an otherwise dreary season. Turning to weather, the temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach a high of 70 today. Atlanta, Georgia will see a high of 69, and Manchester, UK will see a high of 40. And don't forget to go with your Spouse Day to tune into the full100radio.com tonight for nighttime jams featuring some of your favorite romantic classics. That's your Daily Hour news break.
I want to go back to the beginning of your news break. You said Jason Hayward, member of parliament, minister, whatever title they give themselves these days, right? Did you say that he was talking about immigration? Bermuda needs to relax the immigration laws or something?
Yep. And have a immigration, what is it? Hold on, let me just get the proper title. A certificate. Yes. Where is it? Economic investment certificate.
Let me say this. And you know what? You know who's the most disappointing group of people to me in Bermuda? Diehard PLP supporters. I'm gonna tell you why diehard PLP supporters are the most disappointing group to me in Bermuda. Because they cannot see the difference between them and cult-like people who support bad presidents that they seem to be against. Let me say this. Had Michael Fay, who I don't like either, had he said what Jason Hayward's saying, you all will be ready for a parade. Stop this nonsense. Seriously. It was okay for Jason Hayward it's okay for the PLP to say and do this. But it was wrong for the OBA and Faye. If it's wrong then, it's wrong now.
Period.
You all cannot let the political party be the death of you. And I don't care who writes who to say I have a vendetta or agenda against the PLP. No, I actually care about the people of the country, not a stupid political party that don't give a crap about people. We'll take a break, come back with Jesse Seymour. Tom minutes out of here.
Good day, Medical House Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
Medical House is a great resource for Leroy. The service is excellent.
Medical House is best known for its uniforms and footwear. It has hundreds of styles of scrubs and nurses' uniforms for health professionals. Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
The biggest reason to come see us is that we specialize in these areas and the education and knowledge that we provide.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door. Call or visit Medical House today.
Perrier water has been renowned worldwide for over a century and a half. Collected from a pristine ancient mineral water spring in the south of France, originally bottled in a distinctive green pear-shaped bottle, and distributed in Bermuda by John Barry & Son Limited, our foremost beverage distributor, refreshing Perrier is the champagne of mineral waters. Try Perrier water in bold, natural fruit flavors with no added sugar and 0 calories. This month, we're featuring peach, strawberry, watermelon, orange, pink grapefruit, lime, cucumber, and regular Perrier water in cans. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can also watch this and many other locally produced shows if you have One Communications cable. She's Carla Zoo. I'm Jamel Hartman. Carla, you know, I don't know, man. It's like it Bermudians deserve so much better. You all, and I say this from my heart. You know how parents talk about tough love? Like, you know, I remember my parents coming down hard on me. I still don't forgive them for some things. But, you know, they come down, you're a parent, come down hard on their children saying, look, I'm doing this because I want you to be better than me. I have never, ever in my lifetime seen that of a political party that's been in power in Bermuda. And so it fascinates me that when I question one group, I can go at the One Bermuda Alliance and everybody's fine and dandy. But soon as I do it with the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, there's a certain group of people that want to make me the enemy. No, fool, I love you. I'm trying to wake you up. I'm trying to get you to see the forest beyond the trees. That's all good, right?
Yeah.
Trees beyond the forest. You got what I mean.
Beyond the trees. But I think people see it though, Jamal. People see it. I saw Twitter, like people were commenting, and I was just like, okay.
I just honestly, man, I don't know, and we're gonna bring Jesse on. I'm sorry we're a bit late. Jesse is the conversation today, but I really want to touch people. Like I'm speaking from my heart to yours. I really am. This is not about me. It's not about Carla. This is legit about our well-being. We cannot say that it's wrong for someone to rob us because they're white, and then say it's okay and defend the acts of another to rob us because they're black. We can't say it's okay for someone to pee in my front yard if they're white. It's wrong. And then if they're black, it's okay because no, stop it. You deserve better, folks. You really do. You do. And if you don't understand that you deserve better, you're not going to expect it, and you're not going to demand it, and you're not going to get it. So all I'm saying is you don't have to hate your beloved Progressive Labor Party. That is not the same political party with the founders and the fighters of 1970 or 80 or 60, whatever decade you want to choose. You don't have to dislike them or demonize them, which people think I do. I don't. I don't care that much. I care about the people of Bermuda, not the political party. And I will use this platform not to change your mind, but to get you to think. Because in truth, the enslaved people weren't allowed to read. You have it all in front of you. Access to information to read, to understand, and most of all, to think. Do not give up your right to be an individual and have freedom of thought because of your so smitten with politicians and a political party that will still be here long after you're gone. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's bring in our guest of the day, Jesse Seymour. Turn it down a bit, because you all think I'm angry. Let's bring in Jesse for the conversation. Do you want to add something before we bring Jesse in, Carla?
No, it's just that me, period. Anything that's fanatical, I just want no parts of, regardless of what it is. When you can't see, like you said, the forest for the trees, it's a turn off to me.
Indeed, indeed. All right, let's bring Jesse into the conversation. Jesse, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi,
Yeah, we don't normally get this heated, but you know, sometimes every now and then Carla says something that gets people crazy.
Yeah. It's no problem.
I'm here for it.
I like it. Yeah, I'm here for it.
There we go. But Jesse, first, let's just talk to us about how's your mom doing. Let's start off with your mom. How's she making out right now?
So my mom's doing pretty good. You know what I mean? She's actually right here with me. She's backstage just eating her breakfast. You know what I mean? She came right. I said, "Listen, you gotta get off the camera. Get off the camera." You know what I mean? But yeah, my mom's definitely a fighter. You know what I mean? This is my mom's fourth time dealing with cancer. You know, she's beat it 3 times, and you know, dealing with situations like this, I know I'm not the only one. You know, and I feel like I'm at a space now where, you know, my mom is a giver. You know what I mean? She constantly gives to people. She constantly does things for people. And, you know, my mom's not one who normally asks for help or asks for money ever. You know what I mean? My mom pays her tithes faithfully, and like she believes in Jesus Christ, and she believes that he will bring her through every time. And his actually brought her through. You know what I mean? My mom's had like all my mom's sisters have passed from cancer, except one. She's lost her brother. She's lost her mother to cancer. And I just feel like I've been given this kind of platform, you know, to just talk about a little bit and let everybody know what we're kind of going through now. Like my mom's did chemotherapy 3 times. You know, the last time was like the hardest one for me because my mom was at my mom actually had stage 4 ovarian cancer, and the doctor actually called us all in. You know, and they said to us, they said, "Listen, mom, your mama's like has a very serious case of ovarian cancer and is at stage 4, and she needs to be flown out now." You know, and my mom didn't didn't really have the medical funds. You know what I mean? Like I had to reach out like to the LCCA. I'm very thankful to them. I had to reach out to pals, you know, but eventually like you kind of like, you know, you run out of sources. Like me and my brothers, like, you know what, we have a crazy outstanding bill, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like life to me is worth more than any type of money.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? Like we only have one mother, you know, and my mom's always been there for me, you know, and I feel like it's my turn to just to pay it back, you know. So I reached out. We started a GoFundMe page for my mom, and you know, we actually started it 5 days ago, and I've been going on like a few radio stations. I'm thankful to you guys for even having me this morning on the Daily Hour. This is my first time, and I'm thankful, you know. And we've raised so far in 5 days we've raised $18,454. Now, what we're trying to get to is 60,000, which would, you know, cover my mom's expenses. She's supposed to be going away at the end of February. So I also want to do a thing, whereas like if people don't know about the GoFundMe account, they can actually, if they want to give a donation, they can come down to my mom's restaurant, you know what I mean, and bless her like with whatever, and they could also get a free album from me with whatever donation they give.
All right. I'm just gonna share the link for the GoFundMe so everyone on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you're watching. If you're on TV, we can get it there as well. But I've just posted it right there so people can click it wherever they're watching. Carla, sorry.
So Jesse, you just mentioned you and your brothers, and how close you are to your mom and what a rock she is. How are you guys coping with this as a family?
Well, I feel like the last time my mom was going through this was actually a year ago, from January. She actually flew out, and my mom was very skinny. My mom was frail. You know, my mom didn't have any hair, and I wasn't able to travel with her. You know what I mean? And that part right there, it kind of had me at a low point. You know what I mean? But I also feel like my mom, like just to see my mom on the phone, like as weak as she is and as frail as she is, tell me that, listen, like I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna fight this. I'm gonna make this. That's the things that keeps me going. You know what I mean? To see her strong and to see her fighting, because I I I kind of felt like the last time, like I was kind of gearing myself up, you know, for the worst, you know. But like the Lord's brought my mama through, and I'm very grateful. And another way that I deal with it is like through my music. So like if you when you guys see the link or whatever, when you click on it, you'll be able to see the video that I did for my mother, and that's a real video. Like that was a time where my mama had to do chemotherapy. Like my mom was doing chemotherapy at 5 hours at a time every 2 weeks, and I would stay there with my mom for the whole 5 hours, not go to work, like, and that was every single times for all the rounds that she had, and I felt like that kind of helped her get through as well, because doing chemo by yourself is a hard thing, man. Like, and to have somebody there who's like gonna help you and to like hold your hand through it, people need that type of support.
So you said that you've raised $18,000 in 5 days, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Are you surprised by the generosity in such a short space of time?
I actually am. I never thought that people would, even give to my mom. But then again, like, my mom has done a lot for a lot of people. If you know my mom, you know that my mom's like, if you come across my house and you don't have anything to eat, you don't have any money, like, my mom's the type where she's gonna feed you. You know what I mean? Like, my mom never turns anybody away. And I feel like the more you give, the more you shall receive. And I always have seen my mom as a giver, and it's a good feeling to see people, giving back and supporting my mom the way that they are.
Now, your mom has always been a hardworking woman, generous, etc. But yet, you guys have to raise money for healthcare. What role does insurance play in this?
So my mama doesn't have any medical insurance. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever we get is what we're gonna have to use, because like I'm dealing, like, me and my mom's, all of us we're dealing with a mortgage, you know what I mean, and all sorts of things like that, and to have to deal with this like a fourth time, you know what I mean? It's kind of it kind of becomes overburn, you know what I mean? But yeah, as far as insurance, like, my mom doesn't have any,
So, how daunting is this? How scary is it for you, just period? I mean, not the health part, because you've spoken about that, but just the fact that you guys are fighting tooth and nail to raise this money for your mom. Do you have a fear that you may not reach the goal?
Yeah, there's always that fear of of not reaching a goal, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm one of those guys who slash giants, you know what I mean? Who just keeps getting no matter what, and I feel like we're gonna do like whatever it takes. Like, if we have to put this money up, and then I like whatever it takes. Like, if I have to go to the bank and get a loan, like, to help my mama, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep her alive.
And I mean, it's my mom was diagnosed stage 4 lung cancer. I want to say 2019. So for me, when I saw it come across on Twitter, and I think one of Bermuda's international footballers, Reggie Lamb, I think he was the first one to share it where I saw it.
Yeah, Reggie's my close friend.
All right, so makes sense. And I just, I mean, it took me a second. I opened it, and I'll be honest with you, I don't usually open stuff. I opened it, and I immediately felt the need to give to it because I can relate to the situation. Not only did I give it, but I don't often retweet, and I retweeted it. And what I said in the tweet was, our family needs us. And Jesse, we probably met each other in person once, right? But for me, family is connected beyond blood and even know one another. And I think forget about insurance companies. For me, it's more, we're a community of people, and when our community needs us, when our community is in need of our assistance, these are times when we jump at it. No controversy, no fraud, none of that stuff. Our community needs us, and for me, it's a no-brainer. I don't have much.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't have much, but sometimes, my father said it to me recently. Hey, this is about life. A dollar can save a life, and so for me, I felt a personal responsibility to ensure that I shared it in my WhatsApp groups. I shared it beyond even circles that I stay within, because this is what makes a community. This is what keeps us strong and going. So I know there's a negative connotation. There's a lot of negativity around GoFundMes, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
And that's why I felt the need to really push this, because I don't want people looking at this as a negative thing, like someone just looking for money. And that's why I said to you, I'd like you to come on this show to discuss and engage with our audience, as to give background so that people would feel more comfortable assisting your mom, right? And I'm hoping that it works, because this is life, folks, and we don't know. The one thing, if I let you jump back in, the one thing I want people to understand is we don't know when we may be in that position where we may need our community as well. Today we may have the job, we may have the house, we may have no debt. Tomorrow that can all change like that. So I just want us to be conscious and understand the need to make sure that our community is not suffering, and our community is able to feel the support, get the support, because we don't know when we're going to need our community to do that for us.
That's right. That's right, Jamal. That's right.
Cherie Dill asks, is there an account number available for those who prefer not to use GoFundMe? If you have that, Jesse, you can send that to us, and we can definitely, anyone that wants that, we can send it to them via email if you don't want to give it publicly. Okay,
perfect. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Cherie, we'll touch base with you. Anyone else in the audience who would like, don't want to go the GoFundMe route and want to do bank accounts, just reach out to me. You can hit me on my social media, or just hit engage@thedailyhour.com, and we'll be definitely respond to you. Kishonda Curtis says places like Bermuda and the US are rich countries because they do not pay for healthcare for its citizens. It's a tragedy and a breach of basic human rights. Much love to your family, Jesse. Well, let's talk about the healthcare. We did mention it.
So my mom's screaming over there. I have hip.
Okay. And HIP is what's just to clarify, what is HIP?
HIP is basic health insurance, Jamal. And it's interesting that your mom just said that, because my dad took ill and had HIP, and it meant nothing. You still had to pay when he had to go for his heart, and it was still a huge debt. So that's where I was going, in the sense of what Kishonda said. It's kind of daunting when we're in this opulent country, and yet sometimes we have to sell everything or scrape just to get.
Jesse, obviously your brother and you're entertainers, you're singers, right? Have you guys obviously and I think you've been on Miss Thang's show, Cousin Thang, over there on Pole 95 previously, to talk about how the pandemic impacted your ability to even make money during this time. Has that impacted the ability as well to provide for your mom?
Oh my God. Like, I don't think you guys understand. It's like I went from not having, I after America's Cup, I had gotten a whole lot of exposure, and I actually started, the whole thing started with the Big Chill. I was singing 4 or 5 times a week, whereas I didn't have to work. I was able to, help my mama, like, out, guys are carrying the weight and everything is going fine. But then, my mom gets sick, and now it's like the COVID hits. And then remember, the whole thing happened with the whole Tony Brennan situation, and that was right before COVID. You know what I mean? So that kind of shut down my whole thing, where I had to try to find another band. So by the time I found another band and was getting in the niche, it was like, okay, everything's shut down. right? So now I'm not working at all. So I had to come up with like a way to make money. Like me and my brother said, I'll tell you what we do. When I think you were allowed to have about 75 people at one point, or maybe 50 to 75 people. And me and my brother had to start putting on shows down my house. You know what I mean? Where we had to charge people, we was charging people $50 a person. You was getting live entertainment from me, my brother, you know what I mean? And everything was just trying to keep us afloat, you know, and it was going pretty well, where we was doing two gigs a month at the house, and was selling out because people just want to hear live entertainment because it's not anywhere else, you know what I mean? And then you got my mom cooking the food and all that, so things were going well. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no people, no gigs, no nothing. So I mean, I've been doing little hustles here and there, but now I'm at a point where it's like I'm gonna have to go out and go back and find a regular job now. You know what I mean? Until things open up, because I mean, I don't have too much pride to where it's like I'm not gonna work her, I'm not gonna work her. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but it's so hard to find stuff because everybody's looking for it, right? So I mean, and it's not even like, it's like I went from doing something that I love and making money from something that I love and something that I've worked so hard for, to being just like, to kind of being stagnant now, you know what I mean? And it's definitely put a dent in everything that I thought was how it was gonna go, you know what I mean? It's not really going, but you know, my head's still up, you know, I'm still pressing forward, and I just hope, you know, things can try to at least sort of get back to normal.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Carla.
So Jesse, one of the things that we're huge on in the show is talking about wellness. How are you, as far as, I mean, you talked about you and your brothers, you've talked about, the joy that your mom brings, but this is a lot on your shoulders as such, as a collective. How do you ensure that you stay up?
Well, the thing is, Carl, is like music soothes the soul, right? And I feel like music is what gets me through, you know, and like to keep my sanity, and to keep my health as well. Like I just write. I go in my zone and I write, like, to whereas during COVID, like I dropped a whole album, you know what I mean, in April, and I have like all these songs now, right, that I haven't even released, you know what I mean, but I'm just sitting on them, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, this whole time, like, you sat here, you wrote all these songs, you know what I mean? You haven't released them, you haven't recorded them, but they're written. And it just shows me that, like, I've had to just take more time out for myself, you know, and just go in that space and just write. And that's what gets me through, you know what I mean? Like, it might not be what gets somebody else through, you know, but that's what gets me through, you know?
Indeed. I just want to highlight that what you said regarding work, because I wanted to put it all in perspective so people kind of understand the situation, to kind of round out the conversation. Again, going back to GoFundMe and healthcare and HIP, and then the ability to work, and people maybe not understanding that you were a full-time singer and entertainer, part of performing 5 times a week. That's your trade. And so it's not just, we've had Juggling Jason on to talk about how it's impacted DJs and others, and how, you know, the hotels, and you may have been performing for big corporations that came to Bermuda, different things like that. So it's not like someone that's just not working and can't support themselves. It's a person who's been impacted by the COVID-driven recession, also who just stated that, look, I'm not too good to do any job. I'm looking, but the challenge is so are so many other people. So I appreciate all of the clarity that you've added, Jesse. Is there anything that you want to leave people with before we let you go?
I just wanna let people know that, like, if you're dealing with, a family member or a loved one who's dealing with cancer and who's dealing with chemotherapy, you know what I mean? Just try your best to support them. You know what I mean? Not only with funds, but with your love, like with your support, because that's the types of things that gets people through. You know what I mean? And I feel like as a community, if we show just more love and more respect for each other, then like everything will be so much better. You know what I mean? And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Jamal. I want to thank you, Carla, for just having me on your daily show. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's my first time, and I'm very appreciative to you guys for having me come on and talk about my mama. And yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. I want to thank you guys.
No, thank you for taking up the offer, Jesse. And I just want to let you know and let the audience, this platform is a community-based platform. So these are the kind of things that we will continue to make space for. So even as your mom goes through the treatment, we'll be checking up and making sure if there's anything we can do, we'll definitely offer the branch to you. So thanks again. And
definitely, man. Thank you, man.
Send them my love.
I definitely will. Thank you.
All right, talk soon, bro.
All right, bro. Thanks.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Linda Bell, good morning. I cannot go online to make a donation. Can I meet or take a donation somewhere in the city? Linda Bell, please send an email directly to me, to us at engage@thedailyhour.com. All right. Carla, can you type that in the comments for them? Engage@thedailyhour.com. Anyone who can't go through GoFundMe or doesn't want to, just send us an email and we'll connect you with Jesse and his family. Nikki Michelle, before we go to a commercial break, she says it's disgusting that HIT can't support Ms. Seymour's medical needs. What's the point of insurance that has limitations, particularly and especially when you truly need it? Bermuda needs to do better. Kishunda Curtis says, have you thought about relocating for a few years to the UK for your family, artistry, etc.? I'm sorry, I didn't get that question across to him, Ms. Curtis. Rosalind Famous says, so if HIP doesn't cover these types of costs, what is the combination someone needs to be able to cover these medical needs? All right. And Charles X, when is the next event at the house? I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't get your questions through, but we'll definitely keep this conversation going for you. Again, if you want to contribute, you can use the GoFundMe. If you are unable to contribute through GoFundMe, you can hit us up, engage@thedailyhour.com, and we'll definitely put you in touch with Jesse and his family. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. We're going to wrap it up, recap. We'll do the daily play, and then Carla's going to give you all some inspiration for the day. How's that sound, Carla? You got him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this one's going to go, folks.
Good day, Medical House Doris speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare. Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products.
Anything that we ask them to do, they come through.
These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
If we can use them, we definitely do so.
Medical House has been.
That's definitely not the commercial we were supposed to play.
Bermuda, do you know the difference between internet and Wi-Fi? Don't worry, neither did I. Let me break it down to you. Internet is delivered to your modem, which then has to push the Wi-Fi signal into the rest of your home. Do you find that the further you're away from your modem, the weaker your Wi-Fi signal gets? That's because Bermuda's homes are built hurricane tough. It's really difficult for that Wi-Fi signal to reach every room. But you're in luck. Our One Home Wi-Fi solution guarantees Wi-Fi coverage in and around your home with the help of our Eero devices. Plug in the Eero around your home and it will create a mesh Wi-Fi network in every room. Check us out at One today to sign up and make sure you can stream, work, and play from every corner of your home.
All right, welcome back at the Daily Hour. Carlos Zul, myself, Jamal Hartman. Thanks again to Jesse Seymour coming on this show and discussing his mother, Jennifer Jenny Rose, her Seymour, her situation right now, and the funding for her medical expenses. Here's the Daily Play, folks. Carla needs your help. Question. It's a history question. Here we go. The late Dame Lois Brown Evans served as the opposition leader of the Progressive Labor Party on 2 occasions. In what year did she begin her first tenure as opposition leader?
(1978)
That's not the answer.
Before that, the party was started in 63. 1980? I knew it's when I was young.
So she had 2 tenures. You're getting further away from the original tenure.
Okay, so 1965.
She did not. Can anyone help Carla? The late Dame Lois Brown Evans served as the opposition leader of the Progressive Labor Party in Bermuda on 2 occasions. In what year did she begin her first tenure as opposition leader?
It's not in, give me a hint. It's not in the 60s at all.
Yeah, it's in the 60s, Carla.
Okay, so it's 1964.
Nope, it's not 64 or 69, unfortunately.
67 then, because I said 68 already. 1967.
You didn't say 68, you said 78, so it's not 67.
1968.
Well, there you go. Oh, my goodness, I'll give her an applause. Yes,
that's something with an 8.
Dan Lewis Brown Evans served as the opposition leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party on 2 occasions, and the year that she was first made opposition leader was 1968. To be exact, it was May 22nd, 1968 through June of 1972. She was then again the opposition leader April 1976 to October 1985. All righty. Quick recap on today, Carla.
I just hope that people near and far, you don't have to be in Bermuda to contribute to Mrs. Seymour's medical fund. Let's help her to beat it a 4th time.
Indeed, indeed. And I say, I read something the other day, and this really stood out to me. It was about money, and it said, the problem is a lot of people don't want to have a lot of money. They want to spend a lot of money. And I read into it more in the quote, and it's saying people want to win the lottery and make millions so that they can spend it, not so that they can have it and have it when they need it. And so my point is, even looking at my own mom's experience and what we're going through, like we're talking about something that needs to happen medical expense wise, not even the medications, folks. The medications, some run you $8,000-$10,000 a month. Insurance doesn't cover all that. And I want us as a community to understand what we're dealing with, because we don't know what can happen to us or our family members that will put us in a similar situation. It can all change so fast, and it has for many of us. And medical expenses are no joke. Any inspiration before we head out, Carla?
Yeah. Excuse me. Family is not an important thing. It's everything. Michael J. Fox.
There you go. It is everything. Any final words before we head out, Carla?
No, just let's try to do, even if it's $5, $10, everyone try to support so that we can help Mrs. Seymour make her go.
Yeah. Is there about 60-something thousand Bermudians? $1 gets them to their goal, right?
They're already 18 up, so yeah.
There you go.
That covers some medication too.
Just want to say another big happy birthday to my niece Nyla, her 8th birthday. Happy birthday, Nye. Aunt Lewis having a birthday. Happy birthday to Aunt Lewis. Uncle Damon Witt. Happy birthday to Uncle Damon as well. Yeah. His birthday too. And also remembering Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and the others that were tragically lost a year ago today. Don't forget, if you want to reach out to us, if you're unable to do GoFundMe, you can reach out to us via email, engage@thedailyhour.com. Thanks again to Jesse Seymour. Tomorrow we'll have Rashida Godwin from Titan Express. We're talking about Africa, Bermuda history and cultural tours. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Lindos for ensuring that we're able to do this with you. As always, appreciate you. We love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a great day.